Hello and welcome to Tear Down These Walls podcast. Here we tear down the walls of silence, shame and stigma, one story at a time. And for episode 25, I have finally got to sit with Mr. Keith Doran. Keith, you're very, very welcome.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming, because I know in the past we did talk and you were like, Lisa, don't ask me to come on your podcast. But I'm so happy that you changed your mind. So yeah, look, I'll start the way I usually start, and it's if you want to tell me a little bit about your childhood and a little bit about what brought you to be who and how you are today.
Wow, yeah. Well, about my childhood. I was born in Summerhill, Mountain View Court. So we lived there from when I was born, 1976 to 1980. So 4 years living in Summerhill. Then after that, mum and dad bought a house in Ballybough. So we moved to Ballybough 1980. I was 4. So grew up in Ballybough, as I said, in the 80s.
That was a big deal in the 80s to buy their own house, wasn't it, back then? It was massive.
It really was. Now, mum and dad's from Summerhill.
Okay.
And it was a really big thing to be able to afford a house.
Mhm.
Obviously, they got a mortgage. So my dad's background, quite eclectic. He used to sell cars in Summerhill. He had a little car sale place in North Circle Road, just around from S Squares. But as I say, mum and dad from Summerhill. My dad, I think he's one of 10 kids. Mum is probably one of 8 or 9, and both brought up in Summerhill. And like most of us from the inner city, they had a very tough upbringing, no money and all the rest of it. It's funny, coming out here on the train, I was thinking about mum and dad and that upbringing. And as we know, they all do the best they can, bringing up their kids and whatnot. Right? I had to think about their upbringing and some of the stories they told me. I remember my mum was 11 years of age, and as I said, being brought up in a poor environment and the inner city. Remember, she went into a shop, she was telling us, she went into a shop and she robbed a big old slab of Cadbury's chocolate. So needless to say, she got caught. And in them days, Lisa, in, as you know, Catholic Ireland, they used to have a priest sit in the courts. So mum, you can imagine, mum getting brought in. She was, as we say, lagged. So mum was arrested.
She was lagged. Yeah.
She was lagged. So she was brought. She ended up in the children's court. And as I say, Lisa, in the children's courts back then, there was a priest used to sit up in the court. So the priest would be there, Your Honour, whether it be me mum or whatnot, such and such, a scourge in the community. So my mum never in trouble in
How old was she, Keith?
11.
She was at, oh my
So
God.
what the priest would do there, the priest would swear your life away. Reason being, you get sent to these industrial homes, free labour. So that time, my mum got 12 months.
Oh my God.
Down the country.
Keith.
So gone, never in trouble in her life. So she got put into an industrial home. That was one of our first events. My dad was 12. He was in the Diamond, Summerhill, back to Summerhill Diamond. And there was a friend of his had a push bike. It was a stolen push bike. He dad knew it was stolen, don't get me wrong, but he had a go on it. So then the police come in, and guess what? My dad got lagged. So same thing, Lisa, 12 years of age, up in front of the judge. Again, the priest was there. Now, it was different for the boys as well. When the boys got lagged, they got sent to farm, down the industrial schools, whether it be Clonmel and all the other ones.
St. Lawrence's.
Letterfrack and all the rest. My dad got 2 years. 12 years of age, he got 2 years. So he was down there, cutting the tour for the farmers.
It was child labour for them.
Free child labour.
Yes.
And so, literally, the clergy, they'd farm out the kids and get paid for it.
Do you know, I'd never heard this start. My own father was in one of the boys' homes as well. That would have been in 70s that he'd have been in it, so probably a little bit after. But I never heard that that's why it happened back then when you're... Shit, Keith.
So yeah, they had a very tough upbringing, Lisa.
That was the start of it, like
That was the start for it.
experience.
And as you know, their mother and father, like, I'm not sure my grandfather was working and he was fond of a not drink, and there's no denying and hiding that. But it did shape my upbringing. Let me give you an example. And this is sharing private private stuff, but isn't that what the podcast is about? Tearing down these walls.
It is.
Let me give you an example. So growing up as a teenager, we always had to be in for 8 o'clock. And us as kids, I'm one of 6 kids, us as kids, we used to call it the 8 o'clock lock-up.
It was quite early. It's for teenagers, wasn't it?
8 o'clock. So we had to be in. So my dad would lock the front door at 8 o'clock. Why did he lock the door? Didn't know this at the time. Why did he lock the door at 8 o'clock? Because in these industrial homes and that, it was 8 o'clock. Now, my dad is in his 70s. So my dad would have his dinner. He might watch a little bit of TV. And up by 8 o'clock, he's up in his bedroom. It's still ingrained in him.
So he was still walking from that 12-year-old boy, like the routine, the mindset, like it imprinted in him that severely that he was now actually doing it to his children. He was using the same.
So you have to ask yourself, now this hindsight is a great thing. I'm 50 years of age, so I have a better understanding of it now. And you can look back and reflect and say, in some way, he's still a prisoner. So back to teenage and growing up.
God, there's a child to shape us though.
And
I think
much.
like even what you're saying there, like I'm 44, I've only realised in the last few years how much I was shaped by my childhood and all these little things that I have that don't serve me well now. You can go back if you could look at a movie and say, there's where that came from, there's where she got that from. It's and even you telling me that, and then you look at the generational stuff then that comes from that, because we keep passing on, like what you described about your dad. It's so interesting.
And you pass it on subconsciously,
of course,
or unconsciously. You don't realise what you're doing. You're talking about learning them. We'll probably get up to it, my background being a hypnotherapist of 25, 26 years, and I do psychotherapy amongst other stuff, that from being a baby up to about 10 years of age, that's where most of your learned beliefs are formed. In those first 10 years, shaping their beliefs is formed in those 10 years. So what you see and what environment you're growing up in, good, bad, or indifferent, that's what you learn, and that's what you know.
So that forms how we respond to people and to the world around us. So it doesn't matter then, how our environment sort of change. We're still working from this place of belief system, what we've learned in those 10 years.
Yeah, very much so.
And then we end up saying, after years, what the fuck is wrong with me? It's not what happened to me. It's like, what's wrong with me? Why am I like this?
Yeah.
Why am I suffering?
You're right. And it's not just what has happened to me. It's like, what environment did I come out of? And those of us who come out of difficult, tough environments, and let's be honest, let's not mince words, shitty environments. We come out of shitty environments where if there was chaos, now I'm not talking about essentially my own home, but we came out of chaos and even a little bit of madness. And if that's all we know, that's not only shaped a nervous system. It's like the soldiers come home from war. And for those 12 months, 2 years in war, there's bullets flying, rockets, bang, bang, bang. The mind, the body captures all that. Holds on to the screams, the shouting, the fighting. Now, could you imagine how for a young child growing up in a household, whether it be young guy, young girl, whatever, growing up in a home that's at war?
I can actually. I can, and I know what it does. It's, that's what causes the nervous system to be the way it is, anxiety later in life. And that's when we find the great substances that work to bring that nervous system down for us. And hence, that's why you have a cohort of people that has all these mega issues that makes life a lot tougher than it needs to be. But we just don't know it while we're in the process of it.
We don't know what we don't know. And you spoke, and I've heard a few other people being on the podcast, and your own particular history. And we used to use the word whether people go on to drink, drugs, and sex. Sex is a big thing now. I find them back here in Ireland. That it's a form of escapism. And it's good. It serves its purpose. But the word escapism. Yes, you can escape. But what about the stuff, whether it be trauma, the hurt, the war that's still happening in the mind, the war that's still happening in the body? If that's not addressed, it goes.
I know that to be true, because I know I've spoke about talking about it, but when I came to do some work with you, which I was like, Keith, I'm in talk therapy, I'm running, I'm walking, I feel like, and I was getting real down because I was like, why am I still feeling so heavy? Why am I still reacting? Why am I still suffering from anxiety? Why, when I lie in bed, am I not breathing, just taking a deep breath? And it didn't matter what I was doing. And it was a therapist that had suggested to me, I think you need to do some body work. And then you came into my life. Like you were sent to me, Jonathan, from Highway to Heaven, and did some of your somatic work. And I'm doing actually I'm going to be doing my thesis on it next year in college, because I've experienced it, I believe in it, and I really know that it works. And it gave me that shift that I couldn't shift with the talking and the running and the walking. And so what you're saying about the body holding on to stuff and holding it on for years.
Yeah.
For me, it was like the one thing that has worked in releasing, So sorry, I know we got sidetracked there. So carry on, please. I just needed to.
Fine. I did mention that I'm a hypnotherapist, and let me just explain why I got into hypnotherapy. So about 17, 18, 19 years of age, late teenager, I was suffering from panic attacks. And these just came out of nowhere. So I could have been walking into town on the way into Henry Street, down Parnell Street. And I used to remember a few times I'll be just entering Henry Street, right at the GPO.
Yeah.
And the panic had come out with me and says, what's panic? Because panic is different for everyone. I felt the heaviness coming over. I felt like things was going dark. It'd be a beautiful sunny day, but things felt like they were going dark. My chest was tight, and I honestly felt like I was going to die. And this just came out of nowhere. Like I say, about 18, 19, came out of nowhere, 20 and whatnot. So I was like, what's this all about? So I started various things to find out what this is all about. So I was thinking of body, mind, and spirit. So I remember, for the body, I became a masseuse.
Okay, so that's what you did. That was the first thing you did?
That was the first thing.
I was wondering what you started with, Keith.
So I remember doing the physical. I trained out in Raheny, so about 40 years ago or so. And that was great. So it did make my body feel relaxed. So that was okay.
Looser.
A bit looser. But the panic was still there. So I was like, So I remember one time, it was my birthday, so I took my brother, on a holiday to Spain. So I said, let's go. So we went for 2 weeks. So a few days into it, I was getting panic attacks. I was like, oh, jeez. And you know the way, if you suffer from panic attacks, you want to go home.
They really disrupt your life.
So
really
I cut the holiday. I said, we need to go home. He said, what's wrong with you? Have a few drinks, relax. I said, no, that's not what it is. And isn't that the whole Irish thing? Have a drink.
Have a drink, you'll be all right. Everything will be fine.
Your aim is hanging off. So have a drink, you'll be out. No, you won't. Yeah. So I did cut that holiday short. So then I went to the doctor. I'll never forget, I went to the doctor around Fairview there, explaining about panic attacks. It was funny, back in them days, you were just sitting down with the doctor and explain, and he's already writing the prescription. And I'm like, so anyway, he wrote the prescription. He gave me some sort of relaxers. Do you mean like a hexagon I think they're a purple one, and like a Valium style. I think it was 5 milligrams. And I remember having a panic attack, and I was taking one. I said, Dad, I'm feeling a bit panicky. He said, I'll take one of them tablets. That's okay. And I remember sitting on the chair, and I was just like, just feeling a bit mellow, a bit rubbery. But for me, because I don't do tablets, it just felt like a chemical
shutdown.
No, more about a chemical relax. It didn't feel natural. Yeah, didn't feel natural. And I remember I was like, nah, that's not for me.
Yeah.
And then I remember I flushed them down the toilet. Probably didn't help me at the time, but I was like, no, they're not for me. So I had that light bulb moment, and I said to myself, well, Keith, obviously this is a mental thing for you. So, 1920. So this is a mental thing for you, Keith. So I said to myself, I'm looking outside for something that's going on to me, for me, inside.
Existentially, you are looking for something
I was looking for something external to fix something that was internal. And I said to myself, that's not going to work, Keith. So then I've always been interested in the mind, philosophy, and all of that. So I was like, hypnosis. So I remember, I started the journey of the mind. So we've done the body, so we're now on to the mind.
You're very young with this thinking though, weren't you? Like for a lad from the inner city.
Well, it's funny, growing up, Lisa, all my friends back then said, you're very different, Keith.
Did they always say that? Because I was actually wondering about that. I was like, I wonder, was he always a little bit different to his peers?
You're an oddball.
That sounds about right what the lads would say down there.
You're a bit of an oddball.
Weirdo. Did you get weirdo?
Yeah, weirdo. So then I signed up to become a hypnotherapist.
Okay.
And it was a 2-year course, so I wanted to do a proper course. Like, some nowadays they do weekend course, this, that, but that's another podcast in itself. So anyway, I enrolled, so I started to learn about hypnotherapy. But part of this course, and naturally, and this is why I wanted it, part of this course was to do your own work.
Okay.
And Keith joined up because of panic attacks. So
it was a reflexive course.
Yeah. But part of the course, you had to do 10 sessions on yourself with your supervisor. So my supervisor was Mary Jo, so 10 weekly sessions. So as we are doing these weekly sessions in hypnotherapy, Lisa, we've done a particular one. It's called parts therapy. Parts therapy.
Okay.
So the supervisor explained to me, so part of you, Keith, is the panic is happening. So I said, okay. So I got to understand the part, So then she led me into hypnosis. So as you can imagine, I'm laying down on the table, supervisor's there. So go into hypnosis. So I'm just laying there, okay. So next of all, she says, I would like to call out the part that's causing Keith panic. And if that part would like to come forward, please come forward. So I'm lying there. And I just hear it was me, but I hit the voice was saying, yes, I'm here. So what would you like to be known as? And again, I'm listening. Panic. Okay. So what's she done? She thanked the part, panic, for coming out and talking to us. So she also said to panic, the part, as you hear from Keith when we were talking earlier on with Keith, he's not happy. He doesn't want this panic all the time. Is there something else, panic, talking directly to the part, you can do to stop doing what you're doing? And panic says, yes. Says, I will stop what I'm doing. I'm ringing the bell because Keith is not feeling. Now, could you imagine? I'm just like, what's this even?
Yeah.
So what we done in essentially what we done.
But it's making sense as I'm listening. It is making sense.
What we done, we got the part, instead of working against me, to work with me. So we made an agreement. So I'm lying down. So I remember making the agreement with the part, and I shook hands with panic. So the panic says, I will stop ringing Keith's bell, panic attack, if Keith stops and feels. So I didn't know. So anyway, I made agreement with that, Lisa. Instantly, in that moment, a well of emotions everything come up. Says you what? 2-3 years previous to that, 4-5 friends of mine died suddenly. Cancer. One was murder. One was from the inner city. One was in a fire. One was in a car crash. Very close, best friends I grew up with. But,
This is all in the space of 5 years.
yeah, about 4. Yeah, less than 4. 3-4 years.
Okay.
Keith never breathed.
Did you just put it aside?
Here's what happened. We speak about the mind. The mind is here to protect you.
Mm.
So the mind thought, this is too much for Keith to feel.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't allow the feel. So the mind took the sadness, the grief away because the mind thought it was too much for Keith. And in essence, it may or may not be, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But the body was still holding on to the emotions.
That's where the panic.
So although the mind was doing its protection, the body was feeling the panic. The body was feeling the body.
Makes so much sense.
So the mind was able to override the thoughts of
what was happening,
but it wasn't able to override
the
the
body.
body. So in that moment, Lisa, I made the agreement with panic to stop and feel. So on that table, I felt like my physical body was nearly lifting off. The well of the emotions. I seen the people that died and left and went before me, the emotions that come up, the loss, the hurt, the love, and everything just come up and out. And I just felt. I was crying, I was everything. But the difference being I was allowing myself to cry. I was allowing myself to grieve. To feel and grieve.
Mm.
So getting back to it, I says the mind was there to protect me. So then we got the mind to come back together and work together as a team player.
With the body.
With the body.
So it's about connecting, like because you hear this thrown around so much, it's connecting the mind and the body and the soul, and it's you do hear a lot of it now, but I don't think we ever allow ourselves to actually think about the process of what may happen. Like, see the way you've explained that to me.
Yeah, so
I have experienced what you said, as in, say, when my husband died.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm fine, I'm grand, I'm really strong, I'm cooking the dinner again, I'm drinking like a skunk, but I'm only doing it 3 days a week. But I was having massive panic attacks at that particular time, exactly what you were talking about. So
Let me tell you that you hear people, like you just said there, people can remember an event.
Mm.
So if people come to me for a whatever session, whether it be hypnotherapy, breathwork, whatever, sometimes the mind can remember the event. And then I'd say to them, how did that make you feel? They say, what do you mean? And then their response, I see the eyes looking up. When the eyes looking up, they're going back to the mind. I remember that.
Mm.
So with particularly hypnotherapy, 2 different types of hypnotherapy. There's suggestive hypnotherapy and analytical. And if I can, I'll go into them in a minute. But they were able to remember an event, but not the feeling attached to the event. So in essence, the work I do, if people say, what do? I basically hold space. The best way I describe it. To allow a person to feel safe enough to allow them to unwind. Now, whether that be the mind unwind or the body to unwind, or both, whether we're doing hypnotherapy, breathwork, somatics, or usually it's a combination of, but to allow themselves to not only remember the event, but the feelings that they've pushed down. We all have a story, as you and I know. Well, if we go through an event and if it's not fully processed, we hear sometimes with the buzzwords nowadays, trauma informed and all the rest, which are good words. But if you don't allow the body and mind to process the event to its fullest, to let it to fully process the feeling and the mind.
Isn't that the problem though?
Yes.
Because we're all great at using these buzzwords and trauma informed and this, but do we really understand what we're saying? As in what you've described there, what we need to do for that trauma to move on from it and to stop allowing the trauma to dictate how we live and how the decisions that we make, because we're so governed. As your lovely partner Chelsea explained the last day, you know, how many choices have I made for like myself, or how many choices has the trauma made for me?
And choices you don't even realise you've made.
Yes, but like it wasn't, I don't mean it wasn't you making that, but it was because of the experience of something. You know, we're so driven by
Our experience. Our
unresolved
beliefs.
trauma.
Unresolved
trauma. We're so driven by that, and we don't know until we start talking about it and having these conversations.
Yeah. And you hear people, you know, they're talking about their trauma, and they talk about, oh, I can't get back there. Oh, I wouldn't be able to feel that, or it's too hard,
or I can't listen to that song. It reminds me of.
Yeah. And then you'd say, does that bother you? Oh no, it doesn't bother me. And you're like, maybe you just have to contradicting yourself there. And I'm just back, Lisa. I'm after spending 20 years in Australia. So I know I'm jumping a bit, but I do that.
We'll go back.
We will go back. But coming back here after 20 years, yes, I've seen changes, and I've come back many times during those 20 years, bringing the kids back. And I do see these people, and they're leading these groups and stuff like that. And you have a chat with them, and they tell you they're trauma informed and all. And I do see these trauma informed people, and they do their jogs and their weekend workshops. And then you see them Friday night in the pub toilets. They don't look too trauma informed to me. But anyway, that's non-judgment. But you do, and you say to them, I've had many a chat, and I'm genuinely not having a go at them. I do have many a chat with them. You bring up trauma. I'm trauma informed, Keith, like this and that. And I'd say, how are you with sitting with this? And something that they've brought up. You say, let's sit with that. You say, I don't want to sit with that, Keith. But these are the same people, not everyone, of course, these are the same people promoting themselves as trauma informed. And to break it down into a nutshell is, how good are you able to sit in your own shit?
That's the key. That will, I suppose I will, for myself, I would not be comfortable sitting with people and holding space with them if I wasn't able to do it for myself. I mean, do I still need to work on myself for the rest of my life? Yes. And will I always want to? Yes, hopefully.
Yes.
You know, but I think people who go out into this work and who are not doing the work on themselves, and that's not a quick fix, like let's go and take some fucking ayahuasca and everything is going to come up. No, and you know, me being an addict and an alcoholic, like that stuff could be really dangerous for me. So do I have to go the long way, or am I happy to? Am I happy to try talk therapy, somatic work with yourself, group therapy? You know, there's so many, it's a long process, Keith, and I don't think there is a quick fix. And I do believe that people out there causing more harm than wellness.
Oh, very much so. When you talk, you use the word quick fix. So as I say, I'm 50, you're 44. So it took you 44 years to get where you are now and get through what you've got through. And if you think that it's going to be done in 1 or 2 sessions, whether it's ayahuasca or the magic mushrooms, and they do have their place. I may add, please don't think that I'm down on all that. It does have its place, but I might add a little to that. Doing the ayahuascas and stuff like that, it has to be done with somebody able to hold space. And able to hold space means that if you go off on a mad one, are you able to be there for them? Can you hold them in a safe space and a safe container? But before you're able to hold all them, are you able to hold yourself? And if you have, I just know we all have a story, we all have a past. But if you can't sit or if you haven't sat in your own stuff, you have no business holding space for anyone. I don't care how much of a following you have.
I think that's fair enough to say though, because what's wrong with saying that? If you cannot hold yourself and sit in your own shit and look at your own past, well, you cannot fucking do that. You cannot give what you don't have yourself. And that's just like a statement in anything, relationships or wherever. It's insane. And like that, I'm not against all these other alternatives, but I won't promote something unless I've tried it.
Yeah.
And for me, I think I have a bit of fear because of my way of being where I'm trying to do things in a natural state and be in a natural state rather than have any type of substance giving me clarity or making me feel more relaxed. I'm trying to just be more relaxed and live more peaceful than take stuff that makes me feel that.
Exactly.
You know? So look, that's just for me, Keith. That's how I feel about them.
And you use the word escape and escapism. And you know, we have all these new healers popping up. And I'll heal you and I'll go around healing. When you think about it, Lisa, that's another form of escapism. Because they're going around healing Mary, Johnny, and everyone else, they don't have to look at themselves.
Isn't this true?
So we'll go heal everyone, but it's still a form of escapism. I don't have to look at myself, but I'm going healing everyone. And in true essence, you don't heal anyone. You hold space to allow the person see themselves.
It's so they can look inward and they can see, like you might see the patterns and the family members might see all this, but they're the last person to see it. But until they see it, they can't make the change or they don't even know what they might need at the body. I said to you when I picked you up from the thing, like, you know, I really listen to my body now, Keith. I've never, like, it's 44 years and I would go against that, have a niggle, fuck it. I feel really tight chest, but I'm still going to do something that causes more anxiety, you know, or I won't take that hour where I need to just sit. And it's only now that I can get into bed and I'm like, I'm breathing better. I feel really relaxed. This feels nice. But it took fucking years to get to that state because of avoiding myself.
That's it. And it takes as long as it takes, really, when you think about it. But one thing's for sure, if you want to heal, you have to sit with yourself. You really have to sit with yourself. But with doing that, you know, you have a load of people, there's lots of men and women I deal, sit with and chat with, and sometimes they use the trauma not just as a crutch, as a badge. And look at me, I have a tough upbringing. And I've had a horrible upbringing, regardless what happened, whether it be sexual or mental or whatever. And then they'll use that not to heal. And there's many advantages to not let go of that. To not let go of that, to have that. Some people, not all, some people look at all the attention they're getting. And look at what they generally getting away with, where no one else would get away. But we make excuses like, oh, she's a tough upbringing. Or you have to understand and make allowance. But when I have people like that come in, I'd say, who are you without the trauma?
Oh, what a question.
That's one of the first, and they look at me and say, what do you mean, Keith? I say, who are you without the trauma? And you see them, they're like, no one's ever asked me that before.
Never even thought about it.
And it's not that I'm challenging them. Technically, I am, but I want them to challenge themselves. Who are you without the trauma? Like going back to my bit I spoke earlier on about the parts therapy, part of me with the panic. Part of them is trauma, but it's a part. It's not the whole
self.
But some people are happy to run with that. And that also can be an excuse, and get back to the word escapism, not to look and not to deal.
Yeah, because it's like, and I would say this because I was like that while I was still drinking. I was in the pity me party. Oh, listen about my life. Do you blame me drinking? How could I stop drinking with all this trauma? I did. I wore it like a badge of honor. I told the stories like I was after being in war in fucking in Nam or something like that. And I remember when I started to do the work on myself, I had excuses for the rest of my life to drink and to escape where I didn't want to sit with. But life got that bad that it was like, actually, this is not fucking working. This stuff is pulling me down. It's going to kill me. I need to find a way to let it go and move on. And that was just a forced start of it. But I know so many people who live in the, oh my God, sure, look at my life. I've lost so many people. My children's on drugs. I'm on drugs. And I feel like they think or believe it's easier to stay in it than it is to lift the rug up and look underneath. Because I know people who are so terrified of lifting up the rug. Keith.
Well, you say the word easier. We can get comfortable in our discomfort.
Yeah, because it's what we know and what we've known all our life.
Exactly.
It's a safety place.
It is. And again, non-judgment. It will be a safety place, but there's a word that Chelsea doesn't like, and the word is content and contentment.
Does she not like the word?
Let me tell you why
Okay,
she
please
doesn't
do.
like that word. And she'll tell you, there's no growth in contentment.
So true.
So I'm content. So I'd sit here and have my little cottage. I'm content. There's no growth in it. So
You die in your contentment.
exactly.
I only had a conversation with someone about losing my husband, and I says, this might sound terrible, and I please anyone, don't, this is not what I'm saying. But I said to the person, was it Chelsea? It might have been Chelsea, but it was someone I had to walk with that I wouldn't usually walk with. And I said, when my husband was alive, I was so content in what he provided for me, the love, the safety, how he saw me. And I was like, I never would have walked on myself because I didn't feel I had to. I was so content. So I think I could have died in that contentment. But I never would have got to meet me, Keith, if he was still alive, because he made things so safe for me and wrapped me up in this. I was like one of his kids, content. And I only had this conversation, so I don't fully understand it. Thank you for bringing that up.
It's a nice word, but you says it there yourself. It's safe.
Safe.
It's safe. Like I heard another quote there a while ago. Ships are made not to sit in the harbour.
Yes, very good.
They're made to go out and sail.
Travel, explore, be curious, hit the waves, get the sunshine.
Yeah. Or you could be safe or content in the harbour. But that's not what the boat or ship is made for. That's not what we're made for.
But isn't it nice to have some calm seas with a bit of contentment too?
Oh, it is.
For yourself.
But that's called balance.
Yes. Yeah, no, because it's like, I feel like the days where I am content, and that's not every day, but I do have this nice feeling of peace and joy, that comes from that.
Yeah, I'm a bit of
it's not every day.
I'm a bit of a word person being the hypnotherapist in me. And for me, it'd be better for me to have peace.
Peace rather than content.
Yeah. You can have peace and you can still go and do things. And if you lose that peace, you can always attain that back. And we spoke about earlier on about breathwork. I know we're jumping. I hope people can keep up.
We'll go back and we'll do a little run back to it.
What's the first thing you've ever done in life from the moment you were born?
I breathed, cry.
Before you cried, you took your first breaths. The
Mm.
last thing you'll do leaving this planet
is take a last breath.
And if you knew how many people that does not know how to, through no fault of their own, getting again brought up in the fight or flight and the war zone of being brought up in wherever the household, could be war, could be anywhere.
Chaos.
In the chaos.
Yeah.
If you what I've learned, Lisa, what I've learned in 50 years, the most powerful thing I have is
really key.
Oh yeah. I've learned a lot. And I'm still learning. I think oh God no. The most powerful thing I've learned now is my breath.
It's amazing that you say that, because one of the things you all kept saying to me is, Lisa, don't forget to breathe. And I have days now when I'm doing exercises, your voice comes into my head like this little guru. You'll kill me for saying this.
Yeah.
And I hear you saying to me, Lisa, you're forgetting to breathe, Lisa, breathe. And I swear to God, the difference it makes in whatever I'm doing. I'm like, I'm holding my fucking breath. Why am I holding my breath? And as soon as I let out that breath, but it's
Yeah.
your voice comes in, and it's helped me so much, Keith.
Breathing is autonomous. So our lungs breathe itself, but consciously we can improve our breathing by consciously being aware of the breath. Like even I'm aware of how I'm speaking, and that's the hypnotherapist in me, but I'm aware of my breath. So if it's a thing that if we spoke about panic, if panic was to come back to me now, panic is about breathing. So if to come back, I would slow down my breath. So I have conscious awareness of my breath.
Is that just a natural thing for you now?
It is now after doing hypnotherapy, and yeah.
So is it the combined hypnotherapy with the breath work? Because I've always noticed, and I've never said this to you, how you speak. It's very clear.
Yeah.
The words are not jumbled together. Like, you know, sometimes people have to say what's because your brain can work, but with you, it's never like that. It's very clear and concise.
Well, that's because I'm conscious. I'm conscious of my breath.
Does that not make you? Is that not exhausting?
No, it's relaxing.
You see the way I'm
exhausted.
Absolutely not. No, you don't.
It makes me lovely and relaxed. So unconscious. So I get back to breathing. So consciously be aware of your breath. Consciously knowing you have to breathe.
Just feel good, doesn't it?
And just like that, we stop for that moment. And you know, we just done that together. Wasn't arranged. But that's all you have. And in essence, all we have is a moment in life. And all we have is every moment. And in every moment, there's an opportunity for a breath.
Yeah.
So now if you're consciously aware, whatever's going on, take a breath. And that's not to say if the house is on fire, you sit and go, no, we're not talking about that. You
run like fucking hell.
You breathe.
Yeah.
You breathe.
Yeah, but I see it like most people. I'm speaking for myself. I'm sure there's many like me. I never would have realised how much I was holding my breath and not breathing. In so many situations, like exercise, going to bed at night, I'd be lying, but I'm like, why the fuck am I holding my breath? And then I'd be like, I'm starting to feel anxiety But since I did a bit of work with you, I'm more conscious. I'm not at your level, Keith, but I'll hear your voice saying, Lisa, breathe, I'm not breathing. Yeah. And it really works, it helps.
And how do we get to anywhere, any level, is practice. I wasn't always this calm. Like I'm maybe coming across as calm. Yeah, I'm like that now. I wasn't always that way. And do I still have a nod moment? It's rare, but I do have a nod moment where I sit down. It doesn't matter where I am. I'll sit down. If I'm out in the park, out in the street, I will sit. Say, okay, what's this about, Keith? Sit and breathe.
And you take those moments.
And you take that moment just to bring it all back down. Yeah. And it's about when a lot of people come to me, whether it be back in the day, whether it be a massage or whatnot, they're mainly all up in their head, Lisa. So consciously, whether it be the physical action of the massage to bring them back down, let's expand on that, the senses. So if you are in the middle of having a moment or a panic attack, the best way to get out of that is using your senses. So senses being, let's pick one, sight. Look around. So you're seeing. What am I hearing? Next sense. Hearing, using the ears. What am I feeling? And if you're feeling panic, touch yourself. So you're using the power of touch. Next one. Smelling. What can I smell? So if you invoke all your senses, that is a very sure way of bringing you back into yourself, taking you out of your mind and back into the body. Now to do that, you have to do that consciously. So you're not on autopilot, subconscious work, whatever's happening there.
It's the act of smelling.
Using the senses and the consciousness of being present, being in the moment. So bringing it all back to you. And the best way to start that is the first thing, the last thing you like is the breath. Because mainly a lot of us just do shallow chest breathing. So that's half a breath. What about the other half down here is the lungs, the tummy, the full diaphragm.
Which is what you do in the breath walk.
It's the full breath, filling up the lung, expanding the tummy, expanding the chest, getting a full breath. And then sometimes you can hold on to that breath for a few seconds and then let it all go and feeling the stress and the body unwinding. We spoke earlier about the somatic. So let's, if you can, talk a little bit about the somatic.
Please do, yes.
So when people say, what somatics, Keith? So when someone comes to me for a somatic session, whether it be, let's say a breath work session. So I'd have the person come in after they fill out that paperwork and that they're suitable.
He's really strict on his paperwork.
And they're suitable. And we get them come in. So I will have music on, again, for the senses. And this playlist I have, and it will invoke things in you.
That it does.
So we have the music isn't invoking emotions, memories. And people can't see here. I'm sitting on this chair and I'm actually moving from side to side.
So there's a lot going on here.
So what we're doing now, we're physically moving the body. So then when we get in doing breath work or full breaths, it takes you, your mind, your body into a natural trance. Yeah. And when you go into that natural trance, it's a place where you feel safe. And like I said earlier on, I hold space and a safe container. It's for the body and the mind to unwind. And all that stuff, the trauma and everything that was not fully processed, has the chance then now the ability to come up and down. So whether that the old emotions, the old memory, the old story. So it's not just your mind, you're disengaging the mind. You're in a natural trance. No drugs, no ayahuasca.
It does feel like you have taken something. Like I'd say, Keith, I feel like I'm after having taken some form of tablet, but it does bring you into a state of...
It's a natural state, Lisa.
It's quite powerful.
Yeah, where your body can unwind. And all that stuff that's holding you back has the opportunity to not only to be fully processed, to release forever, gone. And that can just happen in 2-3 sessions. I really love the somatic work. It's moving the body because all the emotions, it can get stored in various parts of the body. We'd say you have a pain here, I have pain
so
there.
Much on it though, like your Peter Levine, the Waking Tiger, your Basil van der Clock, like there's a lot of it coming out. Yeah. And when you read this stuff, you're like, that's me. That's how I'm feeling. That's what it is, that start. And then you do the somatic work with yourself. And it's like, fucking hell. I think I said to you, that felt like 50 hours of talk therapy, that one session. And I mean, we don't have to go into detail, but I think you would have experienced the release that I had from one of those sessions.
Yeah, I know the session you're on about.
Glad you had no neighbours, I think we were saying. But it was powerful and I mean, exhausted after it, but I had a shift and I was like, oh my God, what if I go back to? But it didn't. The shift was the shift.
And once the shift is there, it allows for new stuff to come in. Because it's like
whack-a-mole.
Yeah. It's like a cup of tea. You can only hold so much. And if you keep pulling in the cup, it's going to pour in, it's going to overfill. But sometimes you have to empty the cup. And unless you empty the cup to make room for new stuff, it'll always be there. And I really love the somatic work, but there's a little talk coming into my mind here, if I may. I remember I did say earlier on about hypnotherapy. There's 2 types of hypnotherapy. There's suggestive hypnotherapy and analytical hypnotherapy. So let me tell you the difference.
It's fair, yeah.
When people come and say, I want to give up smoking or weight control, whatever they think, and if I was to suggest you give up the smoking, but me with my analytical thinking brain, the smoking is serving a purpose.
Okay.
You're getting something from the smoking.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I use suggestive work and hypnosis. You're not going to smoke. You could use what's called aversion therapy. That you take the cigarettes, the taste is going to make you feel sick, yada, yada. That's okay. But if there's an underlying issue that's not addressed, yes, you could give up the smoking, but you could go on to vaping, or you could go on to chocolate.
You're going to replace it with something
Exactly.
else.
So that's where analysis comes in. So what is analysis? Analysis basically getting to the root cause.
Is that Freudian thought analysis?
Yeah,
It stems back from him, it is. Yeah.
Let me give you a real case. Obviously, I won't mention the name. I had this lady. I was only newly graduated from hypnotherapy, psychotherapy. So it would have been 2003. I saw 2002, 2003. I had a lady here in Dublin. She rang me. I was advertising then. I seen your ad, you do hypnotherapy. Yeah. Says, I have fear of panic attacks. Oh, spiders. I seen spider, and she went to the panic attack. I says, oh, okay. She says, I was driving down the M50. A spider ran across the dash. I pulled up the handbrake and I ran, left my car. And I said, oh, that's not good. So, yeah, come in. And I explained to her what I just explained to you about the two types of hypnotherapy, suggestive and analytical. So she says, yeah, I just want the suggestive work. So I'll back her up a little bit. You and I, we're chatting here consciously. So my left ear, here's what you're saying, like physically. Here's what you're. My right ear, here's what you're not saying.
Ah.
So I can get guidance from wherever, or I'm hearing what you're not saying. So I says to this lady, me spidey senses. It's a bit my spidey sense like, no, she needs analysis. So I explained to her what analysis was. So I says, we have to do analysis with you. So now I won't get too graphic, but I will tell the story. So I brought this lady into hypnosis, guided her into hypnosis. And it went back to a time that she was about 9, 10 years of age. She was laying on the ground. So when you go and bring someone into hypnosis, you use the W's. Where are you? What's happening? What's going on? So I says, where are you? So I seen the body. She's on my table. The body was contorting a little bit. She was going into panic. So then my spidey senses, we're getting somewhere now. So she says, oh, I'm feeling panic. I want to stop. So I encouraged her. So no, stay with it, because I knew we were getting somewhere. Getting to the root cause analysis. What's happening? She says, there's a spider on the ground. She says, okay. I says, but what's happening to you? So we get to the crux of it. What was happening in that moment? She was being anally raped. Fuck. From behind. But while she was anally raped, what did she see going across in the floor? The spider.
Nothing got to do with spiders. Like,
well,
really,
yes and
the association.
Now, what happens then? The eyes, you've opened here, are the windows of the soul. So the eyes took a snapshot of the spider. The brain took her away, disassociation.
For sure.
But their body. So each and every time she sees the spider on the M50,
she feels
panic. She feels. And as you'd probably know, a spider's that size, we're at least 10,000 times bigger than a spider. So anyway, back to the session. So I got her to experience it again. And we got her to feel and see it for what it is. And then we got her to process exactly what was happening, what was going on. So then I got the older self to go back to younger Mary, the 10-year-old, 10-year-old Mary, and to see it for what it is. So we got the older self to obviously comfort Mary and reassure her what was happening wasn't her fault. Naturally, it wasn't her fault.
And it's not happening now.
Yeah, and not only is it not happening now, but it has happened. So you have to acknowledge
that
it has happened and to release and work with it. So in that session and one after, we got to the analysis, the root cause. Now, if I was to suggest to Mary, won't be afraid of spiders. I left spiders on it. That'd be okay for a while. And then something else will replace that. And so I remember seeing that and I was like, yes, that's why I'm in this type of work. But to see that woman's change. and her body and mind got to release her.
Years of holding on to something
Years
so
of that panic.
traumatizing.
And see, but again, the mind was protecting her. Her mind, when that was physically happening,
She was able to
her
disassociate
mind
herself.
disassociated and took her away. But in the meantime, the camera took a snapshot laying on the ground, what was happening behind her. The camera took the snapshot of the spider.
Mm.
But the body also had the snapshot of the spider. So each time she see it, she
She was
associated,
getting the feelings back
and
from
she
the
didn't
past.
know the mind and the body didn't know why. So what you do, you have to have the mind working in harmony, parts together, to come together and to fulfill, not just to fulfill, to allow the process to be fully processed. And whatever way that works, whether it's hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, and I don't knock any therapy, Lisa. As I say,
It all has its place.
whatever works for you. And if whatever I do works for you, that's fine. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. As I always say to people, go speak, talk to people.
Yeah.
I don't care if you talk to Johnny, Mary. It's not about me.
Yeah.
But go and find out what works for you. But not only that, let's digress a little bit as well. And do a lot of digressing. That to know that you have a right to be seen.
Ha.
You have a right to be heard, Lisa. And growing up in the inner city, as you and I know, with all the challenges. And, you know, as a kid growing up, you'd be crying. If you don't shut up, I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah, that was.
And you're like, what the fuck? I'm sharing emotion here. And for a boy at the time, boys don't cry.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Me too.
Boys don't cry. Now let's talk about the mind, the subconscious. So that goes in. You're like a girl there crying. And as a boy / growing to man, you want to be a man. But if you're hearing and taking on the belief, boys don't cry.
What do you do with that emotion then?
What do you do with that emotion?
Where does that go?
Where does it go? And what do you do to escape the emotions when they bubble up? Emotions are actually your friend. They're there for a purpose. Good emotions, good, happy, sad. I don't see either of them as happy. I just see them as emotion.
It's like anger. It gets such a bad rap. I happen to think it's a very fucking healthy emotion to have.
It's a very healthy.
Rage is not great. But
rage is not great, but all of them, first and foremost, you have to acknowledge them.
Yeah.
They're
telling you something.
And you also have a choice to work with them in either a healthy way or an unhealthy way, as you say, rage. And we've all raged, but who hasn't raged? But then once you rage, and then, oh shit.
Well, it's not a bit worse then, isn't it?
The Tasmanian devils after coming through this house.
No, rage is not good.
So yeah, rage is not good, but it has its place. So if you turn that rage into
a fuel,
but then you say, what is the rage? What's it about?
Oh yeah, you gotta look at.
You hear the language. I'm raging at her. What's she done? I'm raging at her. Like, oh, okay. So what are you actually? Are you disappointed? Are you upset? Is it rage or is it anger?
Yeah.
And like the layers of an onion, what's under
no, it's like, listen, but it's this work that you're connecting with what you've spoke about, the mind, the body, and connecting the two. And like, I was having these feelings around, particular people can invoke something in me, but I will know now because of the work, it's a bit of an over stimulation for me. Why am I so fucking fueled by this or this particular person? And with doing the work with you in the last class I had, I was a kid in a situation. I was feeling very vulnerable and very small, and there was an adult there that could have helped the situation but decided not to. They didn't see me. They didn't want to see me, or, for whatever reason. And I was like, that's the feeling that's fueling me at the minute, like that I get so activated by. And it was, here I was, you're 44, you don't need to be saved by this person, you don't need this person to put a hand down and pull you up. You're very much up on your own sort of, wall or whatever. And I was like, it was the kid in me that, but it came in the breathwork class in the last one, and I was driving home and was like, oh my God, I was actually full of joy, because now when that comes up for me again, Keith, I know it's the kids that's been remembering that feeling. And I'm 44 now and I don't have to feel like that no more, because it's amazing.
And if you feel, we're getting back to breath work, breathe with it and breathe through it. When it comes up, now a little bit of my background as well, I dabble in a little bit of Buddhism.
I've touched on, I used to go up to the Dublin
Buddhist Centre
up on, it's on Talbot Street, just there. And I think I was looking for peace in there, but wasn't living the life to be able to truly, but tell us a little bit about it, Keith.
About there's different, called the noble truths. And one of them is, they say, all life is suffering.
I've heard that before.
And we've all lived a bit of it.
Ain't that the truth?
It is, to an extent. But there's another word that Buddhists use, and I love it. It's called impermanence.
That's 3 times now this week, and I do like it, I have to say.
And impermanence means nothing lasts.
Yeah.
And everything is going to change. So, with the Buddhists, so they're happy and say, oh, you're happy. And that's just the way I am. Oh, you're sad today. That's just the way I am now.
Okay.
And the thing about what I love about their beliefs is they don't hold on to anything. They don't hold on to the good days. They don't hold on to the bad. It's like clutching at straws. It's like
they just accept the now as what it is.
Exactly. Like you go to the beach, and I know you do your walks and your runs. And if you go to the beach, so you're standing on the shore, are you able to hang on, to grab onto the water that's coming in and coming in?
No.
And you stop it from coming in and out?
No. It's like your feelings and emotions, isn't it?
So why don't we have that same attitude towards the feelings and emotions?
Because we're looking for this pool of constant happiness and joy in our lives, which is setting us up for fucking failure and misery, because it's not attainable and it's not real to have it all the time.
Well, good and bad, happy and joy, sadness, it comes and goes. But we try to hang on to it,
It's like when you have a great experience in this lovely coffee shop. I try to come back the next day.
You'll never have the
same experience.
You'll never have it.
But it doesn't stop me.
Well, let's talk a little bit serious. We all know people, probably have family that's drugs.
Yes.
Heroin. I've spoke to a few people, and he says the first hit of heroin, it's the most ecstatic, euphoric. They're wrapped in the blanket, they're feeling soft love, but that is an experience. That's your first experience. You can never have, your second experience can never be the first. Because the first experience is that experience. And so what they do, they go try to chase that experience. It's every experience. You and I were chatting here. It's a unique experience. We'll never have this experience again.
But the thing is, most people don't know that. They'll continue to chase until they chase it to death.
The dragon.
You're chasing the fucking dragon, you cannot catch it.
You cannot catch it.
But I think this takes so long to understand, and to, for instance, and this is 10 years on what we're talking about, I genuinely only in the last month or 2 have been able to fully accept, honestly, that my husband is dead, and he's and this might sound mad, Keith, But I had me time with him, and it's okay that life is going to go on without him. Like, I couldn't say that the way I'm saying this now and be really okay about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, death is part of life, and we sometimes get 20 years, 10 years with someone. It's the same with children. It's the same with anyone. It's impermanence.
Yeah.
And I think accepting that, is like, I'm actually really okay about having 15 years with him.
Yeah.
And I'm okay that he'd 8 years with his youngest son, and, so on and so on. But I couldn't say that and mean that up until about a month ago. I'm very grateful for the time and the gift of him in my life for 15 years. Good, bad, and indifferent, what it gave me.
Yeah.
But I can say this real honestly now, and I can say it with a smile on my face. I got to know this person who's no longer here, but I am.
Exactly.
I am.
And life does go on.
Yeah.
So let's add to that. We spoke earlier on, the very first thing you do in this life is take a breath.
Yes.
But also, by that same way, the very first moment you're born, you're also dying.
From that day on.
Done from that day on.
Shit, Keith. Now that's flipping. That's after flipping some.
But you are.
Yes. Because we're progressively aging.
Yeah.
And we're on our way to
Death.
So it's what we do from then till
It's what
the
we
last
do
breath.
in between the last breaths. So the moment we're born, we're actually dying.
That's fucked up, isn't it, to think about
It is, in your elegant way. It's true.
Keith is a bit of a cheeky fucker when you get to know him after a while.
But it is so true. So we're worrying about death, but we're actually dying. But what do we do in the mean? And like the water coming in now, you can't stop death.
No.
So what are you going to do in the in-between? And let's swing it back around to the trauma. We all have a past.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a story. But do you want to make that your life's lesson? Look at me, I'm wearing me badge of trauma. Here's my life. This isn't Trauma Mary. Hello, Trauma Mary. Hello, how are you? But that is a choice.
I know.
You also have a choice to let go of all that. And people listening, that's easy says and done. Yeah, it is easy says and done, but you have a choice. Now, if you do nothing, that too is a choice. You're choosing to do nothing. And it is also this easy for me to say, because people say, Keith, you have the tools now. Yeah, I do have some tools. But also one of the messages I'd like to get across in this podcast that everyone should and can reach out and ask for help. It doesn't matter who you ask for help. But I'm also consciously aware too, Lisa, that if they never grew up with that belief, that again, as I said earlier on, you have a right to be seen. You have a right to be. If that wasn't given or instilled in you, you're not even aware you have that right.
And I will maintain, I've said this so many times, I think people underestimate how many of us have such a driving force to be seen and heard. And that itself has caused me so much anguish throughout my life, because the things I was doing to be seen and heard weren't productive for me or the people around me. But I was banging my chest for someone to see me and to hear me. And it was all in the negatives, really, it would be true. If I was drinking, could become provocative. So make sure people is looking, and use me woman, me, whatever I had going for me at the time. It wasn't that, because I've never been great in that department. So he's flashing up his top here now. And yeah, no, it definitely wasn't that. But, such unhealthy ways. And all that was that little girl and that little kid saying, I want to be seen and I need to be heard. And someone please look this way.
And also that little girl who was hurt.
Extremely hurt.
That little girl who was scared.
Mm.
And I know by listening to your own podcast on your own self, you've lost your father when you were young.
Mm.
So you've never had that male figure and male presence.
No.
So you never had that guidance from dad. And you've never had that, am I okay to?
Yeah, absolutely.
You
Yeah.
never had that loving guidance to guide you, but you also never had that protection and that feeling of protection that we do as children. We look up to mums and dad as their air gods. From a little bambino, that not only physically they're bigger, but they're air gods. And in your case, you never had that. And you never had that guidance. And then when, we meet people or men in the life that shows us a little bit of guidance or even whispers those 3 words, I love you, the words that you never got to hear. Naturally, as humans, we all want to be loved and we all want to feel safe.
Sense of belonging.
Sense of belonging. But if we never got that at home, and through no fault of their own, because their own parents never got that. A little sidestep now. Growing up, I never heard my mum and dad saying I love you to me or anything like that. I was 30, just 29 when I emigrated, married an Aussie girl, emigrated to Australia. I landed, and it's the usual, make sure you ring me when you land. So I rang it a couple of days later. Oh, I got here, man, everything's well. And she said, oh, geez, Keith, it's like a death in the family that you've left. And honestly, Lisa, for the first time ever, she says in the phone call, I love you.
Oh my God.
And in my mind, I'm going to use a bit of your language. In my mind, I was like, fuck, it took leading 10,000 miles, a 24-hour flight, and me to upend myself, my family, the other way, to hear for the first time, I love you.
What was it like for you?
What was it like? I felt love. I mix emotions. Let's talk emotions. I mix emotions. It felt good. And as I just says, I felt a little bit, Jesus, it took that. It was a little bit bittersweet.
Yeah, I get that.
I was like, yeah, okay, I'll take it, accept it. But I did honor the other emotions that I felt a bit annoyed.
Yeah.
But they never got told that themselves. So if we as humans and as parents, you know, as parents now, if we as parents are expecting from our parents the tools they never have, we be dying waiting.
Yeah.
For them to say 2 things that they never got or received. So I always look in my life, I always look at my parents and their grandparents to try to understand.
I do a bit of that now.
To
I
try
look
understand.
back and
now at the same time, I'm generalizing here. At the same time, that's not giving parents a free pass if you are like abusive to their kids.
Yeah, but it's just the ways of being for those that wasn't abusive.
It's just a little bit of an understanding to realise where they are coming from, and they cannot give what they never had.
No, it's like there's a Maya Angelou quote, isn't it? When I know better, I can do better. It's very like that quote too.
Yeah.
And, it does give you compassion towards your parents. Like, I would look back at, so for me, I do what you're doing. I'm looking at the grandparents to try and understand. And my mum was the youngest of 3, 2 boys, really quiet family. My granddad left for England, never came home, had another family. So she was abandoned and she had no male role model. And you see how like this passes on and that's fucking not like it kept going, the similarities with us and the types of men that we chose, the types of men that died on us, the ones we picked after the deaths, and so similar. And I was like, oh my God, I want this cycle to stop right now and this history repeating itself.
But that's subconsciously continuing the cycle.
Yes.
And that's not you consciously. I want to pick that bad boy.
I was trying to unconsciously do what she did and it wasn't happening.
You can't unconsciously do it from a conscious state. You have to change it from the subconscious.
You got to change everything, Keith.
Yeah, so that's where that's where hypnosis comes in. So you and I were chatting here consciously. Everything we've learned in life is stored in the subconscious. And for pretext here, you have there's a laptop here in front of us, you're doing the recording and all. So I described that the subconscious is the hard drive.
Yes.
So once we relax the conscious, you and I were chatting constantly, once we relax the conscious part, the front part of our mind, we have access to the hard drive. So in the hard drive is all our stories, all our learnings, all our beliefs. And when that changed on that level, that changed on every level.
Ah, so it's rewiring what we were learning from a kid, which takes a lot of time and work.
Yeah.
And it's then changing the belief system. And that's when we see, when you see people, I'm sure your family would have come back from, when you come back from Australia or something, like, oh my God, you've changed. Like, did they say that, or did they see it? What was it?
Let me tell you about that. People say that to me quite often. Geez, Keith, you've changed. And I force him to say,
Thank
you. I know. And he look at me and say, what does he mean by that? No, so let's talk about changes. I'm not the same person I was in 2025.
You're not
I don't want to be that person.
Keith, I just had this conversation. So Lero, which is I absolutely love him. He's like my uncle. And he was on the phone with me one day and he was like, something about you changed or something to that. And I said, I'm supposed to be changed and we are there. That shows growth. I don't want to be Lisa of 3 years ago or last year. I want to continue to grow with this life and with,
You don't want to be that content.
I don't want to be that content anymore. Oh God, I never thought I'd say that because I do like contentment. But if I'm content, I'm not growing. So I'll go with the peace, Keith. I think I'll go with the peace.
That's what people say. You've changed. Let me give you another example of that. I have 3 kids, 20, 21, 22. They're in Australia now. They're doing well for themselves in Australia. So I used to come back every other year and I'd bring one of the kids back. So their own little time with me and with their family here. So I'd walk up from Ballybough down into Parnell Street. So you have to, as you know, you have to walk by so many different pubs.
Yes.
So I could be with me son. So Tig is his name. So I say to him, before we get to this pub, I'm going to tell you who's sitting on each and every seat. So the pub door will be open. So I'd say to him, Paul's going to be there, John and Mark is going to be there. So we walk by and you just hear, how are you, Keith? How's it going? How are you, Paul? How are you, Mark? And then we continue walk. And my son said, how do you know, Dad, you're going to be there? I says, I left here 20 years ago. They were still on that high stool. And they're still on that high stool. And they'd say to me, sometimes I'd go in, I don't really drink. That time I might have a shandy. I'd go in, I'd have a drink with them. And he'd say, it's fair play to you, Keith. You have to better in your life. You've done well. You always said you do. I always knew you were different. I said, yeah, you called me an oddball.
Let's not sugarcoat it now.
And they say, well, you are able to do that, Keith. I said, hang on a sec. I says, the same plane that took me to Sydney was there to take you to Sydney. The difference being I made the choice. First, you have to make the choice and or the decision. So there's the thing. And then the next part is the action and the doing of it.
There isn't the awareness, the acceptance, and the action. There's like 3 areas of a process of doing something.
And then he'd look at me and say, oh, well, if you put it like that, Keith, I said, well, that's the way it is. Or not. So basically, I had the same opportunities they had, but they didn't do it. So they are just the same. And again, like this whole conversation, it's no non-judgment to them.
No, but I want to ask you this question. What do you think it is for some of us who come from the similar same communities and we have all had hardship in those communities? No one comes out unscathed. What do you think it is, Keith, with the people? Because I do question this, for myself, that makes some of us, never give up wanting that change or to be better or to break those cycles, to the people who do want it but just can't execute it. Like, what's the difference in us, and
okay, I take it back to my personal time when I was going through the panic attack, 17, 18, 19, 20, on and off. I remember, Lisa, some days I get 2, 3 panic attacks, and I never ever forget. At the end of each day, there was a little voice in me. And the voice always say, tomorrow's a new day. So this is in a body in panic. But the voice always override. It says, tomorrow is a new day. So what that gave me hope. And I remember as well around them times, there was a Jack Nicholson movie. And the movie is entitled As Good As It Gets.
I love it. One of my favourites.
And in one of these lines in it, is this as good as it gets?
All the people in this orgy, what if this is
as good as it gets? That's it. And I'd be like, and I remember I saying to myself, is this as good as it gets? So I remember moving on a little bit. I met an Aussie girl. She came over, got married. And I remember I had my first girl child was born, Tara. She was about two and a bit. Then Kira was maybe 16 months. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. And Tracy was 6 months pregnant. And I remember turning to Tracy and saying, hey, let's move to Australia. And she says to me, oh, really? Being an Aussie. She says, yeah. Do you want to move there? I says, yeah. I said, why? I says, I want to give myself and the kids the best chance in life. So, again, living up in Ballybough, and you're looking at friends and family around me on drugs, the heavy drugs and all, and ducking and diving. And I says to myself, A, is this as good as it gets? And B, I was a new father, 2 young kids, third on the way. What can I do to give my kids a better start or a better chance in life?
Yeah.
So I made the decision, which my wife at the time.
It's the action part, isn't it?
And she says, I'll go wherever you know. And I said, yeah, I want to go and live in Australia. So I made the decision and I took the action.
Yeah.
And yeah, getting back to your question, it can be scary to do the action, to get out of that rut, that routine, and to get out of that generational thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of change involved.
There's a lot of change. Yeah. Again, but you can get comfortable
in the uncomfortable.
Now, you can get comfortable with that, but you can get comfortable just being okay. You can get comfortable just being.
But are we ever okay?
Exactly. So, unless you challenge yourself.
Yeah, because I would say, okay,
I'm okay.
But then I would say, am I fucking really okay? Exactly. And then I'd be like, actually, I'm not. You know what I
mean? I love questioning myself. And I question.
That meta thinking, isn't it? To question your own questions that you're asking yourself nearly. I do it as well.
And question what, the stuff we see on our socials, on our feed. You see all these people and they have hundreds of thousands of followers and all. And they put up the great stories and I'm great and all. And I say, are you really? And then the next day they can put up another reel and they're in the middle of a breakdown and they're crying and all. And I say to myself, sometimes you may not, sometimes I can be a little cynical. And then I say, they're in the middle of having a breakdown and they just happen to have a camera there. And I'm like, what? So, and then I say to myself, you're actually not sitting in it. You want to share it with the world.
It's the avoidance there, isn't it? But then think what happens after that. Because I had to question this. So what happens after that? You're getting a feed full of messages. Are you okay?
Thousands more followers.
Yeah, but then, so you have to respond to all these people, which is taking you away from what's actually going on for you. So we're into more escapism. But there's something happening to the receptors, is in the pleasure that it's happening Dopamine hits. Yeah. So when I was first doing the podcast, and it was my first experience of, this, oh my God, messages were saying, this is great, you're great. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, I feel great. And then I had to say to Carla one week, I don't really want to do a podcast, but I feel like I'm going to miss the hit. And I said to her, but I'm not doing it for the hit. But I had to really sit in that, Keith, and say to myself, why am I doing this? And if I start doing this because I want a dopamine hit, well, then it's like you're not being the person that you were that first wanted to do it. So I had to let go. And then I was looking at the stats on my Spotify and that was climbing. And I was like, if I don't put one out, that's going to go down. Yeah. So it started to become about all the existential stuff around it and not about why. I had to let go of the stats, let go of the likes, let go of the new followers and think I can only do them now and I can do them. and that's going to have to be okay, but I'm still holding space and
Yeah.
still. But it took a lot of back and forth with me thinking and all. So
Yeah.
I get why people fall into it.
And that's and that's what I do say. I've said to you, I say to everyone, just do you.
So difficult, Keith.
And do you means doing you. What does do you mean? It means sitting with yourself.
Mhm.
What makes you tick? What do you like? What equally, we spoke just before we jumped on this, night and day. What makes you tick? What do you like? And what do you don't like? And we all like, as you say, sitting the dopamine, hit the happy chemical buzz. Oh, that's nice. But I ain't sitting with the dark shit. No. That can stay over there. But one doesn't exist for everyone.
Well, you wouldn't know the state of one without the state of the other. So if I was constantly happy, how could I compare being unhappy? So it's only because I'm unhappy I know the days I am happy.
And you can appreciate it.
Appreciate the lightness
And
of
what
that
happens?
day.
What happens? I know it's a medical thing, but what happens as well with people that's always happy, and go and get a bit manic?
Looking at the question in the highs.
That's exactly.
It's a crash.
So they're on the high,
Mm,
and then after high you get the fall.
yeah.
So I suppose
it's dangerous, actually.
it can be, yeah.
It can be
And
dangerous.
life is about balance.
Oh, speaking this, me and Carla, about balance, and some days we sit on the sofa and, you know, we've had very productive, nice days some days, and we love an hour of TV, but we also want to get 7 hours of sleep because the next day, and there's not enough hours, and I'm like, Carla, you'll hear people speak all over the world about finding balance. It's very difficult to achieve.
There is enough hours, but what we do with the hours that we're actively using, what much is taking up your time, and I'm one for it too. You can jump on your phone to check your messages. An hour later, you're still scrolling too, yes, and nothing's getting done. No productive. You know, the chores are still there in the house to done, and you get taken away again. But that's subconscious stuff, and that's the whole can be algorithms and stuff like that. And we spoke about dopamine. You get a dopamine hit as well online. Yeah. But where was Chelsea and I yesterday? We went to the botanical gardens.
Oh, nice, beautiful.
So had a few hours before Chelsea had to go into work. We walked up to botanical garden, sitting down in the grass, feeling grounded, taking your shoes, socks off, feeling the ground, feeling the connection.
You like doing that because you did it the minute you come in here. I noticed. Yeah, I love it though. It's
feeling and looking at the little squirrels running around, but you're present. I had my phone like there. It's turned face down.
Yeah.
It's not taking me time. And one of the most places that you'll get healing is in nature.
Yeah, I
because
totally
you
agree.
walk in a park, botanical gardens, you do the bit of the beach walk on. You have to be present.
Yeah.
And when you're present, you can slow down. You're with the breath. You're with the senses, and that's where you can allow the space for peace.
That's where it walks.
And
and
as well for healing.
Yeah.
And basically, it's down to ourselves. What do we do with airtime? We can't blame anyone else. We can't blame the phones.
I think the more of this work you do, the less you are blaming people. I use this one sentence all the time now. How much of a role am I playing in my own suffering? If I have a day where I feel like I've suffered a little, like, what was your role in it, Lisa?
Yeah.
Whereas before I'd say, if that fucker hadn't nearly knocked me down, if this hadn't, or if, this hadn't worked out, was now I say, no, what was your role in that today? Accountability. Yeah. And that didn't come easy either. Yeah. But I find it a much better way of living that I'm not blaming everybody for me not having a good day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
and as you say, accountability and awareness. And once you have awareness when you're going through your healing and whatnot, once you have awareness, it's a bit like Pandora's box. Once you have awareness, you can't stuff it back in. Once you see things or people for who they are, you will never go back.
Trust me, I think I've tried to do that because I didn't like what I was seeing and what I was feeling.
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, maybe I don't want to know all this, but you cannot put it back away once the veil has lifted.
No, should you?
And look, I definitely would say I'd rather go through the hardship of myself and the self-discovery and the realization of, you know, my own role in allowing myself to be in situations and stuff. So bringing it back to myself, but I'd never change it, Keith, as difficult as it was. Healing hasn't been unicorns and rainbows for me, you know, it really hasn't.
Fluffy clouds.
It definitely hasn't, and it's very much ongoing. I wanted to ask you again, because this always comes into my mind, because I feel like in the work that I'm doing myself, and I've begun to work with people, and I am a big believer of going back to childhood to resolve the present.
Yeah.
And I find it very difficult to not do that for myself and with other people. And I know a lot of people is like, let's just look at today and try and move forward. But I find 6 months down the line, these reoccurring problems will come back because we're not dealing with the wounds. What's your take on that? And do you think it's possible to live a much freer, peaceful life without going back?
You're asking, can I have the freer life without going back?
Without going back to resolve wounds from the childhood. Can we move forward without going back and have peace in the future? But just saying, okay, I'm going to leave that there. I can't go back. I can't look at that. But I'm going to have these tools and move forward, and things are going to feel better.
Why?
What's your belief on that?
Well, what you just says, unicorns and dragons, they don't exist.
Yeah.
So to go forwards, sometimes we do have to go backwards. And a lot of people are afraid to go backwards. And remember, you're going back visiting an event that's already at the happening.
Has passed.
Well, it's happened.
Okay.
Not necessarily past if it's still trapped in the body.
Okay.
So people look at it in that way, that you're revisiting something that's at the happening. So again, you use avoidance and whatnot. But if the stuff is still stored there and it's not being addressed and it's stuck, whether it be in the body or in the mind, unprocessed, you can't go forward.
Okay.
You can't go forward. No.
I'm really happy with that answer, like, because that's my belief.
Yeah.
But I didn't know whether it was my belief because that's the only thing that's working for me, was to go back and, you know, try and release all that past stuff. And
well, the woman with the spider, she couldn't go forward. She had to go backwards.
Yeah,
go forward.
I do not think it's. I think it's fucking impossible. Like, one of the sessions, and I don't mind saying this because I really, really, really feel like there's so many people like me living in this world who it feels like they're doing everything. They're eating well, they're exercising, they're going to talk therapy, and the missing piece, and people please, like, and this is not me trying to sell Keith. This is me selling that work. Somatic work. It was the piece that I was missing in release and whatever I was holding on to. And I think in one of the sessions I came out of it and I was really upset. And because it is in the intimate sessions, and you need to feel safe in the space, and male and female, and you know everything that goes on about that. And I always did feel safe because it is quite intimate. And I remember coming out of one of them and I was really, really upset. And you just put your arms out to me and you gave me this wonderful hug. And I says to you, I didn't know that I had to, I was holding on to all these people I didn't know I could let go of. And people from decades. And you just looked at me and gave me that look, and you knew, you know. But it was such a relief and a release that I could let these people, they didn't want me holding on to them. I was choosing to hold on to them. My body was choosing to hold on to the stuff. And I cannot tell people that's going to listen to this or express my gratitude for you holding that space and for me to finally be able to let go of the past. And to see these people are at peace and they're okay.
And that is, you hit the nail on the head. They are at peace. And once you understand that, acknowledge that, when you say let go, you're not letting go of the memories or the experience.
No.
You're allowing them just to be. But they are at peace.
I was trying to bring them into me present.
Exactly. And you can't do that.
I know. I was tortured.
And you got to this, you got to the stage that you realise, actually, the only one's not at peace is me. They're at peace. And they're probably looking down,
tortured
laughing,
there.
let us go, love. We've let you go 10 years ago. What are you holding? Will you stop? You're dragging me back. Let me go.
Yeah, don't be so fucking greedy there. I think you said that to me, and
And
it was such a relief, and still is, because when I think of the people, I used to think of them with real, sometimes horror, sometimes sadness, and then when I think of these people, I saw that there's a softness in me thoughts for them, and they're just a freedom. But Jesus Christ, I could have pounded them grounds for another 20 years, when trying to shift that stuff.
Oh yeah, I like the way you worded that. People say to me, well, how do you know healing has worked? How do you know you've healed and whatnot? And your story just summed it up there, that you're able to think of a person, but you haven't got that heaviness. You haven't got the emotions. And and it's funny, you only realise after the healing's done that it's done. And you realise, geez, I don't think about Mary as much as I used to. But if I do, it's not with a heavy heart.
No, that's the difference.
It's lightness.
There's a light. That was a lovely experience. They taught me so much.
And that is the sign that the healing has happened, that you've let go, you've moved through. And it's not that they've let you go. Again, getting back to the Buddhist thing, you've let go of the hold of control.
Of those being living persons still, because they're not.
Yeah.
You know?
They're definitely not physically anyway.
No, and you trying to keep them in your present and in your future plans, and it's torturous for everybody. Yeah. And with that, you can't change or evolve or have this new life, and it's very hard to fully express through words unless you've experienced this type of stuff. It is, and I think that's why so many people are still in the dark web, because people are hesitant to try it out because it's a little bit different to what. And the talk therapy and stuff like that. But having tried it myself and experienced it, and having those shifts in what I've just explained there, I think I could have been still another 10 years' time going to talk therapy, running and walking and talking and being like, will this ever leave? There was a point where I thought, is my past always going to make me feel this heavy? And am I always going to feel tortured? And I am very happy to say that I believe now I'm not. And I can move into a lighter space. Yeah. But I'm still working on it, Keith. It's very much a process for me. But I do feel like we need the help and the guidance of people like yourself who is trained in this work. Yeah. So please, people, anyone out there who has changed, given up alcohol, drugs, is running, is walking, but still they know that there's something still trapped in there. We know.
And what are you running away from?
What are we running away from? You're running away from yourself a lot of the time, Keith.
Exactly. And you can never escape
yourself. No.
And it's only when you sit with yourself, and after, as you know, after you realise and released what you've held on for, you realise, geez, it wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be.
No.
But the fear stops us letting go. Fear stops us moving forward. And whether it be belief, whether it be religious or cultural beliefs in this country, that they can't move on, or they don't feel it's right even to move.
Oh, it's so attached with guilt and stuff. Like I had my husband's mother down a couple of weeks ago, and she knows I've no ill thought. She knows how much I love that son. But I said, it's really nice that I don't miss him the way I used to miss him. Like, it's a good thing. And I don't say that in making anyone feel bad. Yeah. But isn't that wonderful that I'm at a place where I don't miss him the way I used?
How was that received?
No, it was. She really does hear me now, and see, and she knows it's all that I'm really trying to, grow for the children and pass something lovely on to them and myself, and first and foremost. So it was received okay. I think she gets it, and I think people will get from that, oh my God, I can actually get there. If they're missing someone really badly now, it gives them that hope that, I get to a place where someday I can say, I don't miss them so much where it hurts anymore.
And that is lovely. That is a lovely message as well to come out of this talk, Lisa, that sometimes we think but we're never actually stuck. And I know, again, easy to say, but when you hear a good stories like yourself and others that's come before you and whatnot, it's good to know and to hear that you can change
Yeah.
and be that change
Mhm.
and look for that change and reach. Again, I want to, just to say, reach out to whoever, go talk to anyone and say, I'm not feeling tip top or whatever.
It's a game changer
Yeah,
when you can
and it's
do that, isn't it?
okay not to be okay. Because we in Australia they have like a slogan. I don't know if they have it here. It's okay not to be okay. You know.
And you know what? Because I think for us it was always, you know, and you know from the communities, just get up and get on with it. Don't be fucking crying. What you crying about? I'll give you something to cry about, as you said.
Yeah.
So it was very much it wasn't okay not to be okay and to say how we really felt. So it, you know, it does take, I think, I don't know how long it takes for people to, I think it, like you said, just reach out.
Yeah.
You'll be so surprised at, you know, the reception you get from people, or even being able to say, I'm not okay. It's just like that. Oh my God, I can breathe after saying it, you know.
And people like it come to me and all, and people, you know, they say I'm a healer. I will never say that. And they say I heal that person. Oh, please don't say that to people. But there's something. Sometimes, Lisa, all people need is to be heard.
I know.
And to tell their story. And when I sit in that space, I don't sit in that space looking to heal that person. That's not my job. I sit in that space to allow that person that they're right to be seen and they're right to be heard. And sometimes, Lisa, that's all that's needed for them to be heard. And if someone to look at me and say, he sees me, he hears me.
And even you're given that look, what I have received of you when you held space for me. And I think for a lot of us, why we're so afraid is we have given people space before. And we might have felt we were seen and heard. And we have given a lot of ourselves to particular people. And after years of not still feeling seen and heard, it can close us off and it can make us very untrusting, particularly for women to males.
Definitely.
And I can be vulnerable, and I like to be vulnerable because I feel like it's important that I can be. But I'm also aware, I remember walking with you and getting that look of feeling really seen and heard. And I knew you understood without me even talking or sharing, you know, a lot of my experience. And I remember one of the thoughts was, please don't ruin this. Was one of the thoughts I had. Because I really wanted to be able to be open and vulnerable. And because,
and
you
not
know,
to take advantage of your
yeah,
vulnerability, which people do.
And, you know, you can't help thinking that. And I was like, this feels really good. And I really like this guy. I really like that he's, you know, his heart is in it, I feel. And he's in it for the right reasons. And he's, you're very straight and you're very forward. And I love that about you because you know where you stand with you. And there's, you know, there's touching involved in this work and stuff. Can be. And you always ask permission. Always. But depending on the type of work that you're doing. So I think it's very important that we can trust you. And there's never been a moment, Keith. They always say you have these eyes, these fucking piercing blue eyes, you know. And the safe that you hold, the space that you hold, the safeness allows us to be able to let out that massive, like you're holding on to that for years. It's deep stuff. It's deep rooted. It's been a driving force for most of our life. I don't know what you do with all that when people release that stuff. Like, what do you do with it actually?
Yeah, that's a good question. And again, getting back to the little Buddhist teaching, it's not mine.
Great, you said this to me before. I forgot. It's not mine.
It's not mine. And what do I do with it? Nothing. Once I leave the space, I'm out. And as I came here today, I have a little backpack there, and I have me few little like Dora the Explorer, the backpack, but there's nothing extra comes in the backpack when I leave.
That's brilliant, though, to have those
Yeah.
tools to be able to,
And
you know, because I was thinking, does he absorb some of that energy? And
No.
then you're like, why would I do that to me?
no, Jesus. Yeah, it's a valid and good question. No, I don't take anything away. And sometimes I have people come to me, men, women, whatever. It's funny, men, mainly women come to me. And they say, I'm very empathic, Keith, and I take on a lot of things, and I'm so compassionate. And then I turn to them and I say, I look them straight in the eyes. So your teeth.
You did it to me. I love it, though. It's great because it really flipped it for me.
Yeah. They say, what do you mean of the teeth? Say, who are you to take their stuff? You're robbing their stuff. Stop.
And then they don't get the experience. Or
But not only that, if you take on their stuff, after they offload their stuff, you take it on and you fill your backpack and they feel great. And you're walking down there, oh shit, I feel 10 times worse than I met Mary. What's that about? That's about you being a thief. I put it in those terms.
But it's a good way to make us think about it.
It's not your stuff.
No.
It's theirs. You're there to hold space. Listen.
Not to take it.
Let them do what they need to do, whether it's some maths, let the body unwind. It's their stuff. It's not yours. Leave it alone.
It was a great line, and it's one because you know where we take these nuggets from. I mean, we have to talk about so much here, and I'm not going to retain every part of everything. But there is nuggets that I will always get from someone, and they will flip the thinking for me.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a situation and I'm holding space, or I'm doing, me placement work, and I'm feeling like, oh my God, I'm like, no, not mine. Don't be a thief. And that's, your voice coming in again. Don't steal someone else's stuff. It's not. They have to have that stuff to process.
It's their baggage. Don't make it yours.
Yeah, but when we take stuff from people, it's like when we're trying to save our kids. I've done it myself. My son loses something, and I used to go into this mode of, oh my God, how can I replace that for him so he doesn't have to have those horrible feelings?
And not only that,
but you're robbing them of.
You're taking the lessons.
Taking the lessons away. So if he doesn't have a phone because he let it fall in the water because he had a few drinks, if I replace that phone, he's not going to go through that. I need to be more careful. Maybe it's not good to have that phone in my pocket when I'm doing this.
And not only that, not going to always have mum and dad around.
I know, Keith.
And if you're taking their lessons, they never learn. So if mum and dad, like a lot of the parents nowadays do wrap their kids up in so much cotton wool, I roll my eyes. And you're robbing that. So what when you go out in the big bad world and you get a phone call, oh mum, when I lived with you, I didn't have to pay rent, bills or anything like
they haven't got a fucking clue.
They haven't got a clue.
Not a clue.
So we think you're doing well, but you're doing them, I feel you're doing them a disservice.
You're disabling them.
Yeah.
So
you're disabling don't be a thief. Let everyone have their own experience. You can still be compassionate and have empathy and empathic for them, but don't take it away. It's theirs. It's not yours.
Yeah.
Let them go through it and learn their lessons.
I think it ties into healthy boundaries, actually, because it's a really difficult one for people that's really empathetic to have good boundaries. Or I feel like before we do this work, so I would have always been like, my empathy would have got in the way of having the boundary. Because I'd be over empathetic and thinking that person left this house feeling really shitty. And I'd be thinking about that person sitting in their shit, because they would do it down. And I would probably say I had the rest of my evening was to go in and read a book or do an assignment. But because of my empathy, I would not meet my own needs, which was to do my assignment, and I would go trying to rescue this person because I wouldn't want them sitting in whatever it was you're sitting in, but it's their stuff.
Exactly.
Whereas now, from these conversations, I can say,
enjoy your shit.
Yeah, that's your shit. Go sit in it. I can't fix it. It's not mine. And plus, I have to meet my own needs, and that is to do my assignment tonight.
And that's it. And
so
if you're going to have saviours and white knights around, you're never going to leave.
Florence Nightingale.
Yeah, Florence, will you give up with that? No.
But it takes us a while, Keith. It doesn't automatically happen.
It does. And again, we only know what we know, and we don't know what we don't know. But I know what. Probably coming to the end now.
Well, would you believe what, an hour 50 minutes nearly?
Well, yeah, not me and you. We talk for But yeah, it's either you can stay being content, or if you're not content, don't whinge about it and do nothing. Do something.
change?
Like, yeah, first breath in the morning, first breath in life. Each opportunity, people say tomorrow is a new day. I'll change tomorrow. I'll start the gym on Monday. Nah. Each breath comes with a breath can also come with ideas and also actions. So each breath is an opportunity to change.
So the breath walk, I can tell from listening to you here, is massive, you would say.
Yeah.
It's what, so we're evolved, because I know you do Reiki.
Yeah.
Hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
You do somatic. So what's the pins, the forks, sorry.
Yeah, tuning forks, that's just working with energy, everything.
Keith, just because I don't want to go without doing this, if people are listening to this and something resonates and they're like, oh my God, that's the type of therapy I need, give us a little bit of how we can get in contact with you.
Well, you can possibly tag me in this, but first and foremost, I want to say I didn't come here for,
I know you do.
You know what way I am. I'm very strict on that. But if people want to do it, they can reach out. You can tag me in, or if you want to give me details in this post, I don't mind that. But what I'm basically here to say is reach out to who and whatever. As I say, I'm not here to sell myself. Go and find what works for you. If you think that anything that we spoke about may resonate or you want to work, feel free to reach out. It costs you nothing to reach out and have a chat. You give me a buzz, we'll have a chat. And if it feels right for you, if you want to work with me, that's fine. But yeah, feel free to reach out. But as I say, reach out to whoever.
Yeah.
You're never stuck. You're never stuck. And I'm happy to hold space with whoever. And as I say, I'm over 30 years holding space. I'm ready to hold space for people to be the better versions of themselves, because we all can be better versions of themselves.
Do you believe that's true? Do you believe that every person has the ability to change and to...
Well, that is a topic. Me and Chelsea has had that topic before. But let's be honest.
Probably a big question for this late in the podcast.
It could be, but you've asked it. There is some evil people out there that
okay,
call it for what it is. There is like right evil people. Do they have the potential to change? Technically, they do. But do they always change? No. But what you can do, you always have the ability to want to change. And if you're at that stage in life that you're fed up, like you are a bit fed up, and we've done a little bit of work together, if you're at that stage of life that say there has to be something more than this, and I'm fed up with this and I don't want to be too content, reach out, make that call. When I say whether it be me or someone else, and we spoke earlier on, go and see whoever sits right with you and go and do some work. But I don't do wave the magic wands, and I don't do band-aids. So if people come to me for the fluffy, I don't do the fluffy. As you know, I'm very respectful, but you have to, another quote, you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. So as you know, the work I done, sometimes you have to shake the tree.
Yeah.
And with breathwork and somatics and hypnotherapy, yes, you can, and you do get to the root cause of where you are. And once you do get to the root cause of where you are, the freedom leads there. And through my own work of the freedom you get from walking through your old stuff, and you just come out a new person. And as I say, whatever modality, whatever way that works, it's your right to get there, and you get there wherever way you get there.
And one thing that struck out from me, and I was like, because I was still sussing you, and you were like to me, the one thing I will guarantee you, we're going to shake things up and stuff is going to come up. And I thought that I knew all that would happen. And he said, but I will guarantee you change. You will feel a shift. You will feel somewhat of a change. And
you will and do. But when people come as well, when people come to me, it usually takes a few sessions, 3-4 sessions. Sometimes people, after the 4th session, and they feel the shake, they come up, they're like, oh, I don't know.
You do feel that?
Yeah.
That you don't want, you're hesitant to go back?
What's that called? That's called resistance.
Yes,
that's the old part of you that's, here's your word again, that's content.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to give up this contentment. I have to give up this badge of trauma.
For everything to be...
Is a water. I won't get the limelight as I am to do that. So
Yeah.
everything comes up, but that is called resistance.
Yeah.
But once you walk through and you come back and do the sessions,
I
the
did
change
say
will.
to you one minute, I
Yeah.
says, Keith, I was very resistant about
Yeah.
doing this one today. I just didn't want to feel the feelings. I
Yeah.
didn't want the stuff to come up. I didn't want to have to process because I know something always does.
Yeah.
But by like every time I finish a session and I move on from it, I get that piece of clarity, that feeling that I can, because once I understand something and know where it's coming from, I can walk with it. I'm not like in the dark anymore with blinkers on. It's like that's what it feels like sometimes trying to navigate this shit.
And once your body feels at peace, your body and mind feels at peace.
Ah, Keith,
You're the richest person going.
I get into that bed and so grateful. And sometimes I've had, good challenges that day or struggles, but it never matters. I'm getting into that bed and I'm relaxed. I'm breathing well. I'm looking forward to me night's sleep and I know everything is going to be okay. And there is no money in the fucking worlds that can sort of give you that feeling. Other than this walk.
What's my old granny say? Your health is your wealth.
Always. It's true though, isn't it?
It
really is.
And to know that there is help out there, Lisa, for people listening. There is help out there and go seek it out because you deserve to be happy. Life's too short not to be happy.
Really is.
And healthy and even in love.
Yes.
Life's too short.
I know.
And I'd like to finish up and saying to everyone to be gentle on yourself. Be gentle on yourself, and everyone has a past. Be gentle on yourself and don't accept second best. And to know that you don't have to accept second best. You have sometimes, you spoke about women, people 40s and 50s, and if they're unhappy in relationship, who will look at me now and all the rest of it. You'd be surprised.
Really would, wouldn't you?
You'd be surprised. And don't get your deathbed to the last breath. Don't get to the last breath with regrets. I should have gone 20 years ago, 30 years ago, but I stayed because I was used to it.
No, it's so easy to get in. I'm glad you said that. I really am. I can't help thinking, but thinking of me man there. When you said that one, she's and we do have a joke about it as well, which should be okay about me saying. The fear of just being comfortable with the way things are. And I think as well, I do worry terribly about being on my deathbed and because I know better, not being able to do the better. Yeah. So that's something that for me, I really don't want to have to be taking my last breath and saying, you knew better.
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
Yeah. But again,
do better.
Go easy on yourself. If you didn't get to do better today, that's okay.
Yeah.
You have tomorrow to do better again.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Keith, thanks so much. This podcast, like my head is, going in so many different directions because I'm so curious about the work that you do, and I'm also like I wouldn't advocate for anything or anyone, but having the experience myself, I'm really suffering and feeling like I was doing everything in my power, but still suffering anyway. And I think it was the last bit of the puzzle for me, but will be ongoing for me. Like, I don't think whatever cured. I think it's, a lifelong process for us.
It gets better and easier.
Somatic work has really shifted. I used to say, even if I weighed in at 7.5 stone, I never felt light on my feet. I always felt there was a darkness, very comfortable in the dark, I would say. And I feel like there's something shifted and there's been a bit of lighter feeling and movement in myself and softness as well. I'm touching myself a lot more. Even my face, my neck and my skin, which I never do. And it's really nice. You probably notice me sort of holding me arms.
It's actually lovely to see that. And also, before we go, there's more healing to be done in softness, Lisa, than hardness.
Yeah.
If you're hard, or even your heart is hard, it's closed, it's tight. It's hard to shift any determinant, but there's more healing to be done with softness.
I know, but that's been a process too, because I would move through the world very hard, you know, and I actually feel very nice as well. I like how I feel to say that about my own self. Like, it's weird. It's like, who is this person? Because you don't give yourself that, you know, if you need a hug, you feel like you have to go and get. I was like, you can actually just feel yourself, and it is actually really nice to do. So thank you for coming into my life and holding space for me, for feeling safe. It's not always something I feel, and for that shift and that softness, and for acknowledging myself, my feminine side, my own body, and for knowing that I'm enough as well. Thank you very much, Keith. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Lisa, I'd like to thank you for holding space to allow me here today and other people that's gone before me and other people that come after me. I want to thank you. We talk about healing and holding space. I want to make you aware of how much healing there is as well for you, in you, by holding this space for others and for those who listen and those who come through that door. So thank you very much.
Thank you for saying that. That was lovely, Keith. Thanks. I'm going to ask the last question. Now, you don't have to answer it long. If you could tear down any wall, Keith, what would it be for?
Well, the first thing I'm feeling is you have a right to be seen and heard.
Yeah.
So tear down that wall and know that it's your right to be seen, to be heard, and to be felt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And yeah, it's I can't say through my own experience, like the freedom it gives us when we give ourselves the opportunity to be seen and to be heard and to knock that wall down and to be felt. That was the last one, to be felt. I always used to leave out. Keith, thanks so much. It was so informative. I really hope people enjoyed this one, because I know I have. For 2 hours, it's a long one, but I wouldn't expect anything less. A hug.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks everyone for listening.